It's such a pleasure to be up here with this man, and a pleasure to have him at this part of the show. Jimmy Gaudreau.
Thank you all. Taking a big chance here because I haven't tried to tune this in the last hour. It's a very old mandolin and kind of delicate, but it does represent what would have come over here with the immigrants, not only from Italy, but from other countries, because years ago it just spread across Europe through Greece and Poland and the Ukraine, and all of the immigrants, or the immigrants that came over with musical instruments like this, they soon became Americanized, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. So I'm going to take you on a very quick journey through the evolution of mandolin and how it applies to the American folk music. This one is what you would typically think of when you're thinking of Italian mandolins. It's called a bowlback, or tater bug, as the term goes. And I'm going to take a chance now to see if it is slightly in tune. It's a very close relative of the violin, by the way, that Jay was just playing, in that it's tuned the same way, E, A, D, G, except it has double strings tuned in unison. So it's got 8 strings, 8 pairs. That's about all the music I can get out of this thing, actually, because it's very hard to play. It's very hard to hold. As a matter of fact, it wants to do this, so I'm going to put this down immediately. So we're going to go quickly from that. Yes, which plays a little bit easy. What I was demonstrating there was tremolo, which is a back and forth movement. It's a little bit easier on this instrument, actually. This is an old Gibson mandolin, slightly modified. Orville Gibson, back in 1905, decided that he would make it more violin-like by putting carved tops and backs on the instrument. So it gave it a sweeter sound, and it made it more orchestra-friendly. Because back around the turn of the last century, mandolin orchestras were coming in vogue. So you would see mandolins, mandolas, mandocellos, mandobasses comprising whole orchestras. And Orville Gibson wanted to get in on the game, of course, and so he developed this instrument pretty much for orchestra use. You know what, I'm going to play something on this, but Frank, would you help me? Frank Vignola, my favorite guitar player in the world. I'm going to step ahead a little bit to 1935. It was before I was born there, Frank. An old tune made famous, a #1 hit actually, by a gentleman by the name of Fats Waller. And we'll go right into the 4 there. It's called It's a Sin to Tell a Lie. Just be sure when you say I love you, it's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts are broken just because these words are spoken. I love you, yes I do, I love you. If you break my heart I cry, so be sure it's true when you say it's a sin to tell a lie. again, this one came out about 1905, and Orville Gibson did make other variations of this with ornamentation on it, like this, which included the scroll, but still had the round hole. And in 1922, everything changed about mandolins, because he took it a step further, put F-holes in it like this, instead of the round hole that the other mandolins up until this point had, which makes it, again, more like the violin. And it gave it another characteristic, which a gentleman by the name of Bill Monroe, father of bluegrass music, quickly caught on to. Well, not quickly. He wasn't playing bluegrass music in 1922, but in the 30s and 40s, when he was looking for an instrument in his music, he selected the F5 Gibson, which is, this is a copy of, this isn't the real thing. If it was the real thing, it would be worth a lot of money. Anyway, Bill Monroe took this instrument, and as a folk musician, which to me, it's a person that picks up an instrument, doesn't necessarily read music, but just is musically inclined and teaches himself or herself how to play the instrument. No technique, really, just basically having fun with it and getting music out of it, which is what a lot of us still do these days. Have fun with the musical instrument. But Bill Monroe took the basic chords of the instrument, which were basically like two-finger chords, like that, and then he added a couple of fingers to it, which created another effect, the dampening effect. Today in bluegrass music, it's called the chop. No sustain, it just rings, and then he put it on the backbeat, which is the beat in between. One chop, two chop, three chop, like that. I will demonstrate that on a Bill Monroe classic, as a matter of fact. Wait a minute, Tony Tristan, bluegrass musician extraordinaire back there. I'm going to play a bluegrass tune, Uncle Pen, actually, out of the key of A. This is indeed a Bill Monroe classic about his uncle, Pendleton Vanderveer, who was an old-timey fiddle player out of Rosine, Kentucky. And I'll show you what I mean. I don't know if you can see the foot. I'll play the beat, the on-beat on the foot, and the off-beat on the chop. People would come from far away, they dance all night to the break of day. All of holler, do-si-do, you knew all the pen was rare to go. Lady and you live out some night, high on the hill and above the town. All the pen played the fiddle, Lord, how to ring. Hear it talk, you could hear it sing. couple of minutes left. I'm going to do something. This one wasn't planned, but I'm going to play it anyway. So Bill Monroe was probably responsible for lots of sales of instruments like that, the Gibson, and various copies that are being made all over the world and in people's garages and basements these days, because that seems to be the one that they're copying right there, the copy of the old Gibson F model. But right now I'm going to play one that I wrote. The majority of the tunes that I grew up learning on the mandolin were indeed called fiddle tunes. Don't hear many mandolin tunes, so years later when I decided that I would be doing recording of the mandolin, I would write mandolin tunes, and that's exactly what I've done. Play just a little bit of this. It's called Aliens Real, and I named it after my daughter, who is, 27 years old, so I wrote it just about 27 years ago. Called Aliens Real. Aliens Real.
Did a good job.